Hey guys, welcome back to another video for Explore Colorado Springs here. I'm Sam Loving, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 7 reasons why Colorado sucks in the summertime. So if that's something that interests you, definitely stay tuned. We're going to talk about it all and more right here. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, today we're going to talk about the top 7 reasons why Colorado sucks in the summertime. But just before jumping into that, just want to let you guys know, my name is Sam Loving. If you're new, welcome to the channel. If you're not new, welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in again. We are licensed realtors here in the state of Colorado, and we work heavily in the Colorado Springs area. This channel is all about where to live, work, eat, play. We love helping our clients, their friends, family, our friends, family, figure out exactly where to do those things here in the Colorado Springs, El Paso County sort of area, the Pikes Peak region. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please make sure to check the links down below in the info section, as well as if you have any questions or anything like that, please make sure to reach out to us in the comment section. We always get back to our folks in the comment section. So if you like this kind of content, if you like this video, at the end, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Definitely helps out the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to see more, make sure to click the post notification bell so you can get all the future updates about all of our videos coming out in the future. So without further ado, let's jump right into why Colorado Springs sucks in the summer. Now, don't get me wrong. I love summer. It's definitely my favorite season. I want to be outside all the time. Absolutely love summer. But there are some things that absolutely suck about Colorado summers. So we're going to jump right into it. The first being the most obvious, it is hot here lately. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's not that hot. It's not that hot. It's not like Arizona, or it's not like Florida where it's super humid, super hot. No, it's not like that. But relative to all the summers that I've lived here before, it just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And when you're here, where you're kind of in that weird in between as far as the humidity goes, usually we're sitting somewhere around maybe 30, 35, 40%, something like that. It feels like you are in a freaking broiler sometimes in the summertime here. And it's not uncommon for us to start getting up into the high 90s lately, which is something you just didn't see 15, 20 years ago here. You didn't see summers this hot. And you can't convince me otherwise. It's hot here, and that gets so frustrating because a lot of the houses don't have air conditioning here. Originally I'm from the South, so like every building in the South had air conditioning on some sort of level. You just don't have that here in this city. And so you might be moving into a house, let's say you're moving here, you might be moving into a house or an apartment without air conditioning. And that's something that you absolutely need to be aware of. It just gets freaking hot here. And so you're sleeping with your windows open almost every night if you don't have AC. And it can be super, super frustrating. Number 2, right along with that, it is dry here. We've talked about this in videos before. It's super, super dry. Everybody wants to be outside, recreating outside during the summer because the weather is fantastic. We get a ton of sun. It's nice and hot, not so nice sometimes, but when you're outside, like the weather can just be absolutely fantastic here. But with it being so dry, it's not like we have a lot of lakes and, slow, lazy rivers and things like that to be able to recreate on, or super close for that matter in the Springs area. So if boating or water skiing or tubing, all those things, just going for a swim, whatever, if that's your jam as far as outdoor recreation goes, then you need to plan on at least an hour drive, either down to Pueblo and Pueblo Reservoir, or up to Denver, you got like Cherry Creek Reservoir, some other reservoirs up there that you can recreate in. Or you're going to have to get up into the mountains, whether that's like Blue Mesa, probably about a 3.5 hour drive away, or Grand Lake, up in Granby, probably about the same. So you're gonna have to make a drive if you want to recreate on the water here or in the water. And kind of going right along with that, number 3, it can kind of be, I don't want to say so much of a tourist trap in the summertime, but like everybody wants to be out doing the same things that you're doing. And so some of your favorite spots, whether it be your favorite lakes or rivers or whatever, they're going to be crowded during the summertime. I mean, you go down to Pueblo Reservoir on a weekend and it sometimes might as well be Lake Havasu, during party weekend or something like that. It's busy. Everywhere that you want to go is busy. Whenever you want to go for a nice hike in the afternoon, you want to go to your favorite park, Palmer Park, Austin Bluffs Open Space, Pulpit Rock, Garden of the Gods, Red Rocks, Ute Valley, it's going to be busy and it's going to be packed. And if you don't want that, again, you're going to have to plan on a drive. And even sometimes that doesn't work, because as Denver grows, as Colorado grows, and people realize their favorite spots within a reasonable drive are packed out during the summertime, they start heading towards the mountains, which is where you might want to head toward. And so sometimes you go out and all the freaking camp spots are they're filled up, filled to the brim. The first come, first serve ones, I mean, it can just get so frustrating sometimes during the summertime here, because there are so much more people than there used to be. And so you just don't have, the same amount of satisfaction maybe when it comes to doing all your favorite summer outdoor recreation activities. Whether that be hopping on the trail for a hike, doing the incline, hopping on the trail for a mountain bike ride, or getting out and cycling, whatever the case may be, just plan on it being packed. Almost anywhere you go where a lot of people can get to, it's not very difficult to get to, it's going to be packed. And that can just get so frustrating that it sucks. So there's that. So number 4, to go right along with that, one of the things that can also really absolutely ruin your day out here, whether that be your weekend out in the mountains, or even just your time here in the city, you want to get out for a day hike, something like that. Summertime is wildfire season here, and lately it seems like the entire year is wildfire season here. We've talked about this in other videos too. The wildfires are getting terrible here all over the West. We've been in a big decade-long drought, if not longer, and it doesn't look like that's really going to end anytime soon. I hope it does. I hope it's over by next year and we start getting crazy amounts of water again, but it just doesn't look like that's really going to end anytime soon. And so when you're getting out, like, one of the worst things that can happen on a hike on that day that you've been looking forward to all week, where you can finally get out and just enjoy the outdoors, you've been working a long week or whatever, is a wildfire. Because it's to the point where they're getting so big and so outrageous as far as the fire itself goes, that you get out and the entire mountain range is covered in smoke, to the point where you can't see the mountains. I mean, several times last summer, the summer before that, really for the last 5 years, several times throughout the entire summer, the entire mountain range is just smoked out. You can't even see it. You walk outside and it just smells like a campfire in the air. It's super, super smoky. Air quality is just terrible. And that's, it's happening all over the West. It's not like it's totally unique to us, but it is something that's super frustrating. I think I remember 2 years ago, being basically smoked in the city for like, I want to say it was like 2 weeks, that you couldn't even see the mountain range, couldn't even see Pikes Peak or anything like that, because it was just so smoky here. So wildfire season absolutely sucks. That's our number 4, is wildfire season. Terrible. The next thing, with summer comes moths. And if it's not something you're used to, what I want you to imagine is those pictures of, I think it's like Holland or Belgium or something like that, where all those beautiful tulips like all bloom at one time, and those fields just absolutely come alive. I want you to imagine that, but I want the tulips instead to be moths, and your house to be that field. It is absolutely ludicrous what happens here, especially during the hatch season, kind of toward the beginning of summer. It's like you can't get into your house without being attacked by moths, and they just want to show up everywhere. You can't get into your car at night without being attacked by moths because a little, ceiling light comes on in your car. And so it's a real thing here. I know it sounds trivial, but it's a real thing here, and it gets so frustrating sometimes, to have to deal with that. So that's number 5 is summertime is definitely moth season here, especially toward the beginning of summer. Just be prepared to deal with the moths and have to put up with it for at least a month. It sucks. To kind of go along, with it being super hot and dry here, the weather patterns, all that stuff just being so funky during the summertime. Number 6 is that hail season starts up right at the beginning of summer. And if you don't know, Colorado Springs especially is one of the number 1 markets for roofers in the country because of our hail. It is absolutely ludicrous. I've seen softball size hail coming down. I've seen hail to the point where you walk out and there's like literally 2 or 3 inches of ice balls in your driveway. It just doesn't matter. You can almost always count on hail season being an issue here. And the thing with it is like the weather changes so quick. You can go from having the most beautiful, sunny, gorgeous day to all of a sudden we have a hailstorm and a warning out for a hailstorm. And if you don't have a carport, a garage, something like that you can park underneath, it can be a serious pain in the butt to deal with as far as insurance goes, because it's almost always a given that we're going to have a rough hail season, at least at the beginning of summer, and then you have a few sporadic storms kind of spread throughout the rest of summer. So number 6, definitely keep in mind that hail season is real here in the summertime. So number 7, and this is the last one, number 7, real summer doesn't really start at the time that real summer starts everywhere else here. Kind of goes along with those crazy weather patterns. It doesn't really start until, sometimes May, mid-May even. I remember, I want to say it was 4 years ago, we got a bomb cyclone here in the city. We've talked about that before on this channel. So if for those of you who aren't familiar with what a bomb cyclone is, it's where the pressure drops in the air a certain number of millibars or whatever it is within a certain amount of hours. I think it's 24 hours or something like that. But bottom line is, a result from that bomb cyclone, it was in May of 2019, I want to say, May of 2019. And we got 8 inches here in town of snow and 100-mile-an-hour winds, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. And that's in mid-May. It might have even been in late May of 2019. And then the next 2 days, it's, like 70 after that storm rolls through. And so the weather here is just so unpredictable, and like real summer doesn't really start until closer to May, June timeframe. And so if you want to be up in the mountains recreating, especially at high altitude, sometimes you're not really able to do that until, later in the summer. It's just something that can get so frustrating sometimes, because sometimes that one day that you have off during the week that you're really looking forward to get out, sometimes that happens to be the worst day of the week as far as weather goes, Or what's even more frustrating is you have a day that starts out really beautifully and you're like, I'm going to get outside today. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be wonderful. And then you have a hailstorm that rolls through, or the most random snowstorm that rolls through and kind of ruins those plans. So yeah, those are my top 7 things that kind of suck about summer here. Would love to hear from you guys if you live here in this city, if you've lived here for a bit, for at least the summer. What do you think are the worst things about summer here in Colorado Springs? Would love to hear from you. Make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section. We always get back to our folks who view the channel and comment back to us. If you like this kind of content, please again make sure to leave us a like, help out the channel with the YouTube algorithms. And of course, make sure to leave a subscription if you really like this content and you want to see more. And don't forget, along with that, to click the post notification bell. That way you're getting all the updates about our future video. But for now, that's all I got about things that suck in the summer. It's hot, it's super, super dry, and there's not a lot of water around. It can be a little bit of a tourist trap. Not necessarily just a tourist trap in the traditional sense, but in the sense that when you want to get out and recreate, everybody else is wanting to do the same thing, so it can get really crowded here. The wildfires here, absolutely horrible as of late. Moth season is a real thing, and trust me, if you haven't experienced it yet, when you do, you're going to be just as frustrated as I am, unless for some reason you love moths. I don't know. And then hail season and the weather here are just absolutely crazy sometimes until May, June sort of time frame. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today about things that suck here in the summer. Again, if you have any suggestions, any comments, anything like that, make sure to leave it in the comment section. Until then, hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.